This is the Aprilia SR150, and in a way it kills two birds with one stone. You see, I've always wanted to ride an Aprilia, and I've always wanted to give a scooter a bash. I just never expected my first Aprilia to be a scooter, or my first scooter to be an Aprilia.
In all honesty, I've never been the biggest scooter fan. They look pretty dangerous, and as a biker, I will always opt for a small motorcycle over a scooter. A clutch and a manual gearbox make a massive difference in the riding experience and safety. But thanks to Bike SA magazine, I get to see if all my preconceived ideas are actually close to reality.
But if I am going to try a scooter, I'm glad that it's an Aprilia with its Italian racing heritage, even though it's probably not built anywhere near Italy. And if you don't believe me about its Italian racing heritage, let me prove it to you. Firstly, have a look at its name, the SR150. Sound familiar? Well, that's because it's RS backwards, like the famous RS250. The two-stroke that every good biker still dreams of having in their ideal collection. Then have a look at the color scheme. It's definitely got a bit of that Aprilia panache thrown in there for good measure, which is definitely a good thing and can only make a scooter look more sporty. Also, from this angle, it looks like it has twin rear shocks, but it doesn't. That's just the result of something even sportier, the single-sided swing arm. It does make the rear shock look a bit out of place, but I think it's worth it. There's also integrated turn signals that are extremely aerodynamic just to get that edge on sport bikes. You may also have noticed that it's rear engined, which is a huge deal in the car scene. So we'll just assume that it's a good thing in this case too, and that it improves the handling considerably. Although I guess all motorcycles are mid-engined, considering that the engine is always mounted between the two axles. But still not convinced that the menacing scooter has the Italian flair and racing heritage that the Aprilia name requires?
Well then, let's put it up against the sportiest thing I could find.
My beloved 2013 Yamaha R1. It is a bit older than the scooter, but I think it's still a logical and fair comparison.
They're going to go head to head in a series of challenges that are not at all biased and designed to highlight each bike's redeeming qualities. The first in our challenging, aptly named challenges, is the 5-second top speed challenge.
It's simple. Each bike will accelerate as hard as they can for 5 seconds from a standstill, and the bike with the highest top speed at the 5-second mark wins.
The Aprilia set off and got to a confident, far from stationary speed of 50 kilometers per hour. And then the R1 set off and casually beat the scooter with, let's say, 51 kilometers per hour for legal reasons, leaving the scoreboard looking like this at the end of the first round. The rev test.
It's a battle of exhaust notes with a rev test starting with the R1.
Definitely one of my favorite sounds in the world, and secretly the only reason I got an R1. And no, it's not a biased test at all with the 6.5 times bigger R1, because an RS250 could win. So we'll give the scooter a go anyway.
Oh crap.
The pushing race.
It's the famous motorcycle pushing race to see which bike can be pushed from the start line to the finish line the fastest.
The Aprilia seems to be clawing its way back into the fight. The photo challenge.
A sporty bike must also look good and fit in the modern technological world.
Which means the Instagram challenge has to be done. A similar photo of each bike will be taken, edited, and posted on my Instagram story, and the bike with the most votes will take home the vanity trophy. 24 hours later, the R1 had won by a landslide, swinging the scoreboard into the R1's favor. But I will admit, it was a bit of a sport bike-sided audience being on my Instagram. The Red Bull Challenge. Hashtag sponsor chaos causes.
A bike is only as good as the number of Red Bulls you can fit in its boot. Similarly to how a YouTube channel is only as good as its sponsors. I mean, seriously, Red Bull, take the hint.
The R1 took a bit of fiddling and the odd forcefulness, but it managed to take one whole Red Bull. And then the seat struggled to unlatch again and left a few dents in the can. However, it still counts.
Well, that's not a fair challenge now, is it? Who set these challenges in any case? This is clearly rigged.
The race around the bike.
You know the feeling of dropping a glove down the other side of the bike? Well, this is the race preparing for that. The easiest bike to navigate around to get the glove on the other side wins.
The timer starts as the glove hits the ground. And although my response was faster with the R1, knowing that I had less time to waste, it was still 9/10 slower per lap. Proof that in the right conditions, a scooter can keep up with any superbike it wants to. It has the livery you've been looking for a fraction of the price. It'll be far more terrifying than any powerful motorcycle you've ever ridden, and it really is one of the best scooter options if you have a 3-kilometer journey that shouldn't be taken too seriously.
Well, there you have it. The Aprilia SR150 is just as sporty as a Yamaha R1. And I really do believe that every biker should give a scooter a try at least once in your life. It makes you take life a little less seriously, and that is exactly what we need every now and then. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, and I will see you in the next video, hopefully with a bit more horsepower.